Hello everyone, and what you are looking at right now is a labor of love lasting a few days. This is a completely stitched together annotated layout of the new Among Us map, the Airship, made by myself and Akron. This has been a little bit of a project, nothing too extreme, but we thought it'd be best to get this all out together and have a big bird's eye view of this map. So this video can serve two purposes. A, I want to talk about sort of the game flow, the direction the developers seem to be heading, and just my thoughts on the map. And B, to let you guys know this is available online. There should be an image on a forum post somewhere. The link will be in the description anyway. So yeah, just I think the biggest takeaway of this map, and just looking at it straight up, is just how massive it is. Clearly you can see that this map will be accommodating an expanded player count, most likely 15 at some point. When you compare this map to Scaled, Mirror, and Polus, you can just see that how much more massive and intertwined this one is. From the new movement options to the spawning locations to the connections everywhere to this complete spread of tasks. It's pretty massive, and I imagine they're going to expand on this even more. But I think the biggest takeaway from this map, aside from its size, is the fact that the developers seem to be experimenting, and we should absolutely be encouraging that. The reason I say that is because it's very clear here that they are looking at new movement options in the game and how players traverse the map. So what do I mean by that? Most obviously, and we've seen in the trailer all of these, are the ladders, and the moving platform in Gap Room. There's also a ladder in Electrical, and I believe somewhere else, if I'm not too mistaken. I'm not quite sure. The one-way vents we can see over here coming out from records to showers and cargo bay, and the new spawning in locations that you can just discern after a meeting. So, what do I mean by all this? Well, clearly the developers are looking for new ways to just locomote players around the map. Just because it is so big and massive and tasks are going to be spread out everywhere, the developers don't seem to be too unaware of the fact that it's going to be hard to walk around, especially with dead bodies being reported every 5 seconds. And I, for one, am a big fan of that. This is completely the right direction they should be heading in. With the Gap Room and the ladders and everything like that, I think it's very important to realize that they do see the power in it as well. Most obviously in that moving platform there. I think it's a very interesting mechanic, actually. The fact that the sabotage in this map, avert crash, the panels to do it are on both sides, on the opposite sides of the Gap Room. So if you arrive in and the platform's on the other side, where you can do one, but you're unable to do the other, and you have to sort of hope that someone's going to be able to do that, or you go all the way around, which is a very long walk. The moving platform is something very interesting in the fact that there is no callback button for it. It's either on your side and you can use it and you can travel to the other side, or it's not on your side and you just have to suck it up and move around. I think that's very interesting. It is a really good way to get away from imposters that are chasing you. And I think that that thought behind that, and the reason the developer's done that, is very evident in this, because as you can see, the meeting room is up here on one of the sides of the moving platform. So if you're coming in from this way, running away from an imposter, get on the platform, end up over here, it's very easy to call that. Mind you, imposters have their own transport in the form of vents, and I think it's very interesting that on this map they haven't gone for a global vent system as we see in Mirror HQ. They've gone for these sort of loops and these predetermined paths, which is interesting. I personally would have gone with that, but quite frankly, I haven't actually been able to play this map yet, as I've been asleep when it was leaked out on the Switch. But it's certainly interesting to see the ways they're going with this, with imposters moving around this map, because it is still big for them as well. Mind you, this map is more suited towards 3 imposters. We understand that there's going to be a few more hanging about. But it's interesting to see the movement options they have as well. Most notably, this Gap Room over here, it's easy for them to get it over and sort of kill people trying to stop the sabotage, which is very nice. But however, I do believe that on this map, some events are going to be more equal than others. The biggest one I imagine seeing a lot of use is this cockpit viewing deck vault, just because the way I sort of see this map and its layout and everything is that it's very much 3 lanes. You have this sort of top lane here with this section, this middle lane here, and this bottom lane here. And while the vents sort of do switch between maybe the top and the middle and the bottom, this one here seems to have switched through all 3, which is very powerful in my opinion, especially when you have a lot of tasks in these 2 areas and you only have one task down here, and it's mainly just this resolving outside upload data one, which is very interesting. I think this vent system over here is going to see a lot of use, just because people are going to head in here, get an easy kill, and be able to vent out over here, and then claim, you know, I was in security, whatever. Although I must admit, talking about security, that the camera locations on this map are very interesting. You have some rooms, most notably this sort of armory communications cockpit area, blocked off by this camera here outside of engine room. You can't get in there unless you're venting, and so you're going to be able to catch out people on that, which is very nice. I enjoy that part of security immensely. I know some people don't, however, so I think it's a lot more personal preference. Goodness, I'm stuttering this morning, aren't I? The vault up here seems the same thing, with this camera sort of outside of brig and vault. You can't get in unless you've vented in or you've gone through the camera. This one up here in meeting room, I don't think you're going to be able to avoid it just because the ladder is there, so that's going to be one to look out for, and there's no vent out of there. And I'll get onto that in a second as well, how some of these rooms don't have vents, which is very interesting. Records and cargo bay are the other ones where the cameras I don't think are going to be too powerful, just because I imagine with this cargo bay one, if you don't have a terribly long name, you'll probably be able to just slip through the side of this with no one realizing you were there. Like, that's going to be interesting. Records on the other hand too, you sort of have this way to get into the room, the bottom of it, and while that's not going to see too much use, I imagine, it's just something to be aware of. I think the two cameras in here are overkill, but again, I want to see what the developers do with that, so no judgment here at all. One thing which I noticed as well is that I don't think electrical is going to be such a death trap on this map, which is incredible. I love that. We have a lot of tasks here. We have a predetermined path. There's no sabotage. There's no light sabotage in electrical, it looks like. At this very moment, that might change. I don't think there's going to be too much trouble in electrical. And the main reason that is because there is no vent out of electrical that's going to get you away from it really easily. The reason on the scale that electrical sees so many people dying there is because you have a sort of backed off area where if people are just peering into the room, they can't see anyone doing it. There's a ton of tasks there. And if you commit a kill there, you can just vent in and go to medbay and just claim you're there the whole time. And the reason that works is because medbay only has those two tasks there of submit scan and analyze sample. The fact that there is no vent on this map in electrical at all really makes that committing kills in there very just unfeasible, and you never want to do it just because it'd be very, very unpractical. So I actually think that electrical is going to be one of those safer places on this map. Mind you, I do need to make a heat map of this, I have decided, when I do get more information and data and just play a feedback on this one. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how that's going to play out. Another thing is that on this map we have the addition of vitals and medical, which I honestly think once you've completed your task, someone just needs to sit on that for the entire game, because there are certain places on this map where people are going to be doing tasks and bodies are just not going to be found at all, especially in those sort of tucked away corners of decontaminate and develop photos. If you get them sort of hidden behind this wall, or just people aren't just paying attention, it's going to be very hard to find bodies on this map. Mind you, if you commit kills in the middle of the hallway, it's going to be super obvious, but I suppose it's just going to depend on how the imposters play it, and the playstyles that imposters can adopt on this map can be either just brute force, keep killing people until we win, or you sort of hide away the bodies of it. It's going to encourage both of them, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. I almost think it's to the point where crewmates are going to have to recognize what people are doing and sort of play to counter it. Hence all the cameras and everything. The button up in meeting room is very interesting. I would feel that all your sort of sightings of imposter kills are going to happen in this middle area here. You know, all of this where stuff's going to go down, and you're going to want to call an emergency meeting, and you're going to have to run, like, say if it's in kitchen, you have to run all the way up to get up to here, and in that time a sabotage is probably going to happen. You might die from someone else, and the vent system is here to allow people to prevent that. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I almost like it. It sort of, it really terrifies you as a crewmate thinking of that it's going to be very hard to report people in this game. But again, we're just going to see how that plays out with the balance and the larger player numbers of this map, and just the larger nature of this map as well. Mind you, the spawn locations don't come in much there, but I feel like they're going to be a large part of it, predicting how people are going to spawn and everything. I almost think, and again, this would be like my suggested balance change from what I've seen of this map so far, is that when crewmates are selecting their spawn location, imposters should be able to see which crewmates is going where, just because it allows them to like target a bit better. And I think that would be a nice, interesting mechanic. You know, like they could weave it in somehow. I'm not quite sure where. When it comes to the icons on this map and the tasks and everything, I believe most of them are just tasks that are confirmed in the game right now. Not all of them. Naturally, we've seen from the decontamination and the trailers and the task videos and everything that isn't completely, you know, they haven't actually like coded that in proper yet. And so it's safe to say that we will be probably seeing more tasks on this map at some point. So we'll update this map, and I encourage you to stick around and subscribe and all that nonsense, just in case we do have to make a revision of this. But this isn't completely final. I imagine they're going to be adding in new mechanics. I imagine they're probably working on it as we speak, and I'll try to keep this updated as much as possible. But yeah, that being said, I am really excited for this map. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, to see how players adapt to it, and I'll be sure to cover this in its fully proper, how it should be, how it deserves to be covered later on when it does release. But yeah, for those of you who have stuck around to the end of the video, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have people actually pay attention. You make that graph of audience attention look really good and give me that nice ego boost it needed. So I want to thank you guys for sticking around. I just wanted to make you aware, and obviously I can't promise anything for this year just because it has been crazy, and I'm making sure I'm getting all the people in place so we can do this. But there is a somewhat sizable project coming to you in the near future. I won't speak much on it, but you'll know what I mean when it comes out. So everyone, please have a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year's, and I will see you at the other side of it. Peace guys, catch you later.